couple of news items this week may not seem related, but I would suggest that they are. First of all, it was reported that home prices fell by the largest drop since 2011, and new home sales crashed to the lowest since January of 2016. So the record sales prices for homes, which we've been having, has started to decline, and it is no longer a seller's market. And the second big story is that President Biden wants to wipe out at least $10,000 of student college loans for people earning less than $125,000 a year, or if it's a family, $250,000 per family. And you may wonder, how are those stories related? I'm about to tell you. You see, when Democrats are faced with the painful consequences of dumb policies that miserably fail, they instinctively run to their favorite play in their playbook. They give away stuff. That's what they do. I mean, what else have they got this close to the midterm elections? When gas prices doubled under Joe Biden's brainless energy policies, in which he shut down domestic energy independence that we finally had achieved for the first time in 75 years under President Trump, the Democrats came along and passed a massive spending bill in the name of fighting climate change. Now, that bill contained provisions that would weatherize homes and buy heat pumps for poor people. And Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm touted the big news that moderate-income Americans can save 30% on buying a bunch of items to weatherize their homes. Wow. I mean, if you're barely eking out a living, just go out there and spend tens of thousands of dollars on home improvements, and the government will give you a 30% discount for the stuff you bought, but that you really can't afford. How is that for government brilliance? And then when the news about the housing market revealed that due to higher interest rates and inflation, housing values and sales have tanked, that's when President Biden announces he's got a plan to cancel $10,000 of student debt for people who borrowed the money but either can't or won't pay it back. Now, that's going to cost $400 billion of your money. Yeah, you heard that right, $400 billion. About $2,000 per American. That's what it's going to cost you as a taxpayer. You pay in your $2,000, and some lucky soul who didn't pay his or her student loan gets $10,000 wiped out. Now, Democrats are good at the sleight of hand tricks that draw attention away from bad news by making up something that sounds like good news. But they are really best at giving away other people's money and claiming to be doing a good deed as if they had paid it out of their own pockets. Folks, the student loan giveaway is especially disgusting because it means that people who work very hard every day to pay off their home loans, car loans, business loans, and daily expenses, and who didn't have enough money to go to college, are now going to be forced to pay off the loans of the people who did go to college by willingly borrowing the money, and now some of them are making up to $250,000 per family. The only thing worse is that there are actually people in the country who are going to fall for this shell game and think they're being invited to a free dinner without realizing that they themselves are paying the bill and even expected to leave a big tip on top of it. As Joe Biden would say, come on, man. I mean, families making $250,000 a year are hardly poverty-stricken. So why do Democrats think people smart enough to go to college, but not smart enough to only borrow the money that they can afford to pay back, ought to have their loans paid off by people who couldn't afford college in the first place or who worked their backsides off to pay for it themselves? You know, chumps like me who worked 40 hours a week, taking 20 hours a semester of classes to get a degree that I paid for, man, I feel stupid. I should have just waited. Borrowed the money, had a great time in school, kicked back and just had fun, and waited until Uncle Joe came along and said, forget about it. Now, if this is smart economic policy, I would say, why stop at loans for college? Why not pay off people's cars, or their medical bills, or their dental bills? Why not pay off the debt they have from buying a house or furniture, or from their last vacation, for that matter? Because if the Democrats can buy your vote, hey, they'll do it. but they aren't giving you anything that you don't pay for yourself eventually. Here's a better idea. This November, fire the Democrats and tell them you can't afford them. You just can't afford them. Now, give the other guys a chance. Hey, they aren't perfect. I'll be the first to admit that. But they can't screw up the country worse than it's already been for the party that's in charge of everything right now. But if you really want to keep the Democrats in charge after November, then I would ask this. Just demand that they forgive everybody's loan for everything.